and gentlemen, and welcome to another fine edition of Jacob Lenhoff Tours the World. I'm a special guest host of his show, Mr. Eric Ryder. And, of course, as you all know, you may remember Jacob Lenhoff. He hosts a YouTube show titled Jacob Lenhoff Tours Hamilton, Ohio, which is exactly where he comes from. And I would like to sort of take a minute to tell a little bit about myself. As you all know, my name is Eric Ryder. I also have a YouTube channel titled The Ryder Review, where I review movies, mostly throwback stuff from the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, and yeah, I do some recent stuff as well. Okay, first of all, for people who don't know who I am, my name is Eric Ryder. My date of birth is August the 6th, 1976. I was born in Lachine General Hospital. My parents are named George Ryder, and my mother's name is Elizabeth Currat. I have 6 siblings, 2 sisters, 3 brothers, 1 older sister, 1 younger sister, 3 brothers, all younger than me. Their names are Melody, Penelope, Jason, Joseph, and Louis. As you all know, on my Facebook page, I should say, I go by the name Eric Ryder. Ranadota, of course, is the Mohawk word meaning he who shakes the leaves. Because I was born in the month of August, and it was actually a relatively cold 1976. For the month of August, it was actually below normal temperatures that time of year. I guess that's kind of like how I got the name. How I got the name Eric was from a science fiction account called Chariots of the Gods by well-renowned astrophysicist Eric Van Doniken, although my mother omitted the H from the name. She actually wanted to put an H in my name, but I guess in a way it makes sense because, I don't know, putting an H in my name would make me sound more like a Nazi than... So it's actually good that she did omit the H. My nationality is, as you know, my mother, she's Mohawk, and my father is an Anglo-Quebecer. I guess you could say I've always had a knack for pursuing a career in newspapers, and I think it stems to my earliest roots, goes back to when I was 2 years old, and I used to actually look into the newspapers. I used to peruse through the newspapers when I was 2, and it wasn't the kiddie sections or the comic book sections or the comics. No, for some strange reason, I was looking at the business section of the Gazette. I wonder how I got into that. I don't know. But that's kind of like how I knew that newspaper and print was where my forte would be. Okay. What was my schooling like? If I was to say that I was a popular kid in school, I really wasn't. I was kind of like a misfit, a social outcast. I was called every horrible name in the book. Whatever name you can come up with, I was called that. I wasn't a very popular kid in school, but, you know, I excelled well academically. I was a 70s, 80s student, so I was kind of above average. But I still, however, managed to pull through. I graduated from high school in 1995. As you can tell, I have my high school diploma. And then I went to John Abbott College shortly after that. I went there from 1995 to 1997, where I took the social sciences program. And in addition to that, a department award. I was also awarded the Geography Award for having good academics in geography. Then in 2002, I went to the Montreal Radio and Television School, where I spent a good 3-4 months there in the program, and I obtained my certificate. And then I went to Concordia University from 2003 to 2005, where I was in the journalism program, and I obtained my certificate. That's kind of like sort of my educational background. Okay, for the past 11 years, I have been a columnist for the weekly newspaper in Ganawagi titled The Eastern Door, and I've been working there for the past 11 years. My job there at the Eastern Door is the nosy news guy, where I go around town, sort of a similar job to what you do, Mr. Lenhoff. You know, I go around town looking for people and things that concern the community. And I, go over events and stuff like that. I attend certain events, that are happening in town. And I try to get different people, their opinions about certain things. And I think it gives myself the pleasure, and the reason why I've been doing this for the past 11 years is because I like the experience. I like to get to know people. I get to enjoy the atmosphere. My job is pretty much a nomadic job. I practically go to any places that I see possible to get different people to answer my questions. You see, where I come from, I live in a town where the population is about 8,000 people, so I do run into a lot of the same people, but every so often I get different people to answer my questions. My approach is usually no trickery, no chicanery, just pure, honest, sincere interviewing. I don't force people to answer my questions if they don't do it. I'm not going to get offended in any way. But it just gives me the chance to get to know people better. And I hope that people do get to know me better. And I really take that pleasure. In addition to that, some of my other hobbies is that for over 16 years, I have been part of the Turtle Island Theater Company with Kevin John Saylor. And over the past 16 years, I have been in a number of plays and musicals over the years. Such memorable things I've done was Les Miserables. I was in Fiddler on the Roof. Not too long ago, last year, I was in the Harry Potter musical. I mean, whoever knew that Harry Potter would have a musical? Up until last year, I didn't even know that such a thing existed. But therefore, there you go. I was in the Harry Potter musical, and it's a very, very riveting experience, and I really enjoy it tremendously. And I think theater had also helped generate my confidence in public speaking. In, you know, I think it helped generate my social skills, enhanced it, and I'm very, very thankful and grateful that I managed to turn myself around. So therefore, you know, for what it is, I really, truly think that that I have come a long way from humble beginnings to being a great reporter. And I hope to continue in the near future. You haven't seen the enemy yet. Not by a long shot. By the time this filming ends, I'm going to be back out on the streets interviewing people. You never know where I'm going to stop to ask questions. So people, beware. Because you never know where I might be. If you see me with a camera and a recorder, you better come up with an answer. Just kidding. But, you know, it's not a threat. It's an invitation, mostly. So I guess that pretty much sums up of who I am and what I do. Well, this is Jacob Lenhoff Tours the World. Stay tuned for part 2 as Jacob Lenhoff interviews Ganawage's nosy newsman, Eric Ryder. So until next time, this is ECR signing OFF. Goodbye.